Hi, and welcome to the ultimate list of do's and don'ts when visiting Pattaya. Let's continue with our list. Don't rely on other drivers to obey the traffic lights. Amongst other things, Thailand has a very bad reputation for having some of the worst drivers in the world. And Pattaya certainly does its part to uphold this damning accolade. There are daily accidents on the roads here which are often fatal. The locals seem to be lacking basic common sense when it comes to obeying traffic signals. They seem to mostly believe that when the traffic lights turn red, this means you have at least 5 seconds to keep driving before you need to stop at these lights. This worrying trend, as well as many other bad driving habits such as drinking and driving, have been around for a while, so don't expect anything to change soon. We strongly recommend that you use the BART bus for your regular commutes, or hire a taxi if a BART bus is not convenient for you. Never take it for granted that the other drivers are using common sense on the roads, because you will be sadly mistaken. Stay frosty, and always expect the unexpected whilst out here. Do visit the cinemas, as they are excellent value for money. Although still a bargain compared to many other destinations around the world, the cost of visiting Thailand has been steadily increasing over the last few years, and many things like food and alcohol have spiraled up in price. The strength of the baht against other currencies does not help with this trend either. However, one thing that has remained exceptional value for money in Thailand is a trip to the cinema. They get all the big-budget Hollywood movies as well as the Asian movies in extremely large and often luxurious auditoriums. The seats seem a lot more spacious than what's on offer in other parts of the Western world, but the major plus point is the price. Tickets for new releases at screens in Pattaya can be had for less than 200 baht, which is around 25 to 30% of what they cost in places such as America or England. The snacks and drinks can be quite expensive if you purchase them at the kiosk, but stocking up on snacks from 7-Eleven or Tesco before you enter the cinema can avoid you paying silly prices for the same items at the kiosk. At prices like these, you can afford to take that special someone to the flicks every other day and still pay less than you would for a few beers at a bar or for a meal at a mediocre restaurant. So take good advantage of them whilst you are there. Don't monger in groups. It looks very creepy. If you are a fan of watching David Attenborough's wildlife shows on TV, then you will love the packs of mongers that roam the streets of Pattaya looking for some action. Just like a bunch of wild animals, they roam in packs and swarm to attack their prey. They can be found roaming around most busy parts of Pattaya, but Beach Road tends to be a favorite hunting ground for these predators. As you should know by now, Pattaya has hundreds of pros, plying their trade for anyone in exchange for a few baht. But there are a growing number of mongers who only seek these street workers, when accompanied by several other like-minded mongers. What they don't seem to get is that this looks extremely creepy. And even in a city like Pattaya, it can be a lot to take in when you sometimes see upwards of 8 or 10 mongers surrounding one girl and haggling to strike a deal. If you are one of these mongers watching this video, please try to imagine how this looks like when viewed from the eyes of other people who are not used to seeing such savage behavior. Maybe this will make you change your ways, or maybe not. But we felt we had to mention it because looking at it from a different perspective, it just looks very, very weird. Do take time out to do something different. Apart from the main bars and beaches scene, there are quite a few other things to do in Pattaya that many visitors can find interesting too. drinking and frolicking every day can get a little exhausting after a while, so try to mix up your stay by going off the beaten track and trying something completely different. One of the things that I find interesting is popping down to the immigration center to view the expats and migrants, sorting out their permits and visas for working and living, etc. Try to have a chat with some of these people, as you will find that a lot of them have very interesting stories to tell about their life whilst traveling or emigrating to another part of the world. It's great to collect new experiences, and even better to share them with someone that you've never met before. And you never know, you may strike up a new friendship and have a new best friend for life, or at the very least, have a great anecdote to tell to your friends and work colleagues when you get back home. So, don't just keep visiting the same repetitive bars to drink beers every day until it's time for you to fly home. Try coming out of your comfort zone and doing something new. Do keep a close eye on your check bin. In Thailand, whenever you buy drinks at a beer bar, the majority of establishments will object if you wish to pay for your drinks immediately. Instead, they prefer to start a tab for you and do this by keeping receipts of your drinks orders in a check bin. This may seem innocent enough, but major problems can arise further down the line when it comes to settling your bar tab. So be aware. Some of the hazards to look out for are as follows. You may get so drunk later that you get taken advantage of when the bar staff pad your check bin up with phantom orders that you never placed. They can see if you are getting wasted, and this will give the less honest staff members a chance to get a few extra bahts out of you. You could also drink more alcohol than you budgeted for, and be in an awkward position when it is time to pay the bill, but you do not have enough funds in your wallet. Alternatively, there have been reports of other patrons befriending you, and when you are not looking, they will slip some of their check bin receipts into your check bin, so that you end up unwittingly paying for their drinks. There are quite a few other mishaps that can occur using this system, so please beware, and be on the lookout for suspicious activity with your check bin. Failing this, you can always do as I do, and insist on paying for your drinks as soon as you have purchased them, and this will save any possible awkward occurrences when it is time for you to leave the bar. Don't get hustled into buying pawn shop gold. It's just another scam. You should definitely know by now that the overwhelming majority of the girls working in Pattaya are simply there to get as much money from you as they can. And they will deploy many methods for trying to achieve this objective. Some are subtle, and some are not so subtle. You've probably all heard of most of the begging stories by now, but there will always be a few new suckers in town, who will be ripe for the plucking by some of the seasoned pros. One method they utilize is telling you a sob story about how they had to pawn their gold chain to pay their rent, or be homeless, and now they desperately need to get their chain back out of the pawnbrokers, as it was a gift from their family. Do not under any circumstances fall for this scam, as it's a con that has been going on for a very, very long time. As soon as they find a sucker to pay for them to get their chain back, they will be working on getting a new guy to repeat the whole con with, after they've pawned the gold items yet again. If you walk by any of the numerous pawnbrokers and gold-selling shops in Pattaya, you will often see young girls accompanied by older foreigners who have fallen for the scam, and are paying to get their gold out for them. And if you happen to be staying by one of these establishments, you might even see the very same girl visiting the store several times during your stay, and each time she will be with a new man. This is simply a silly scam. Don't be the sucker who falls for it.